All right, what is up? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tim Kramer. I'm with Brand. Start that over again. I am with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we are going to talk about and review the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie. I don't even know what number this is in the total franchise. It's the fourth in the new rebooted prequel stuff. So but overall, I think it's like number 7, if not more. I think there was 3 from the 70s or 60s to 70s, then the 3 with Caesar, and then
Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then now War for the Planet of the Apes, and then this one, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. I think there were like 4, maybe 5 in the original run.
And this is another 5.
The Tim Burton one doesn't count.
Thank you. That doesn't count. With Marky Mark?
Yeah, with Marky Mark.
That don't count.
Yeah.
That don't count
at all.
No. But I did hear the studio, and the guy, like the head of this, said they have plans for 9. And I'm like, 9 plus this, or 9 plus this and the last 3? Because that's a lot of movies, man.
What's the next title gonna be?
Survival of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Civil War of the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. They should call it like of the franchise at this point. But cool. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We're gonna get to our ratings at the end, get into our likes and our dislikes. But before we do, Brian, you got a rundown on what this one's about?
All right. Many years after the reign of Caesar, a young ape goes on a journey that will lead him to question everything he's been taught about the past and make choices that will define the future of apes and humans alike. Pretty general. That's basically what happened.
Yeah. So real quick, saw what Travis said. My friend who doesn't use the internet didn't even know this movie was coming out, saw Proximus Caesar and said it looked like Kevin Durant, which is scary.
How about that?
That is scary. Oh, that is funny. They did a lot of motion capture for it, but they didn't do a lot of marketing, which I'm kind of surprised though. Not as much as I expected. So with that being said, Brandman, what you like about this one?
I really like the world building element of it. I think that's always been important to me when it comes to Planet of the Apes. I liked that they kind of explored what happened after Caesar's time, because I think I read that this took place like 300 years after War for the Planet of the Apes, which I thought was a pretty cool angle to work. How the apes have evolved now, how pretty much all of them are speaking and have like kind of like an equivalent intellect to Caesar's. I really liked that. I liked how it did kind of plant the groundwork or lay the groundwork for more and just kind of go into the power struggle between apes and humans. I think that'll be explored in the inevitable sequels. It's making enough money at this point. The CGI, this you come to expect this because we've seen it in this new run. The CGI motion capture is incredible. It's so good. I thought it was pretty competently directed. I know the guy who directed it, Wes Ball, did the Maze Runner trilogy. I actually, when I heard that he was directing this, I kind of thought that a lot of it kind of aligned with what I had seen from the Maze Runner movies. I thought he was a pretty good fit. The acting was pretty good. Like all the actors playing the apes really just kind of like Andy Serkis did as Caesar. Really, these were worthy successors in terms of the acting, I thought. But yeah, the world building, the CG, and the acting, I think, were really the standout aspects for me.
Okay. What are you, Brian? What you like about it?
I think the scenery was so beautiful. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they did
Mm,
going, I mean, I think understanding where you are and going through the history, and I thought that was really, really cool. And they're following like almost ancient Greek type of things, like following like the kingship, so that and how when we get a monarchy and then have a tyrannical leader and then how things go, and uh it's very almost European while I'm watching it. I'm thinking about European history, a lot of stuff, and
Roman Empire.
exactly, with Caesar, but yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah. Well, that's what he likes to study, so it was funny. You know.
I
Yeah.
thought that was cool, and even Bonobo when he teaches himself how to read, to how to even interact with everyone. Um,
Mm,
it's still it's not even just ape in versus humans. It's with even within the apes, they're growing. They're gonna have three different sides. More, they're adapting. They're becoming more human-like. So now they're gonna have people that have their own will and want to go towards that.
yeah.
Um, so I think that was cool. Um, I have a problem with Planet of the Apes as in itself. The
The
idea of it,
idea.
this period, I have a whole problem of it. So it's hard for me to separate myself from that with the movie. But I will say it's beautiful. I think it was well written, well acted. I guess
Mm,
Kevin Durant did a great job. But yeah, it's hard for me to separate myself when I'm watching it still.
mm,
So
yeah.
my enjoyment is tempered by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Was never a big fan of the Planet of the Apes. Um, yeah, I mean, it was kind of it was very sci-fi. Like I remember the originals things, and that I think always put me off, even when like it did the reboot. It's like okay,
Mhm.
it's cool. I never got into it as much as other people did. But with that being said, like this prequel stuff is doing pretty good, you know. And especially this one because it's 300 years later, so
So
they're
separating
smarter.
yourself from Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah, you get away from Caesar because I was worried that they were just gonna do Caesar's son, like oh
Mhm.
now on to the next one, kind of
And
thing.
they
And
could have,
they easily
that.
could have.
Mhm.
I'm glad they didn't though. I'm super
'Cause you
glad
can bring a whole
they
new story. You talking about how you gonna do
yeah
9 movies if you don't
yeah
separate yourself from, you
from
know
that. But also I liked it in the fact of that it took Caesar and like deified him. It's
Mhm.
like he's not just this person or not person, ape that other ones knew. Now he's almost like a legend, and what kind of Caesar are you want to be like? Raka, the orangutan was very like, oh, he wanted peace and he loved humans and this and that. Meanwhile, Praximus is like, oh no, apes together strong. We're gonna kill everybody. It's like and it's so interesting because it's only 300 years later, and they just take like these views and then they start to make their own assumptions on it. You know what I mean? And it happens all throughout history. Which is super interesting to see that even with apes, we're getting the
Mhm.
same thing. So it was really cool seeing something like that. And you're able to get stuff like that because you're so far ahead in the future. So because Caesar still was a big influence, I guess, in this movie, and yet he was shown for what, a minute in the beginning when they
Mhm.
buried him. And that's not a spoiler. That was the last one. That was like the
Yeah.
war of the planet. So definitely not a spoiler. So if you
We
didn't see
also
that
said
movie,
300 years
yeah,
with Caesar,
yeah,
so
300 years.
Yeah.
if you think he's still
Yeah.
alive,
Yeah, yeah. But some of the coolest things for me, everything you guys said I agree with, but the guys who did the CGI like motion capture, they had to do like monkey school or ape school. I forgot what it was called. So like they learned how to like swing and walk around. Some of them had these like the long extensions, so it looks like they could walk on their arms. Except for Peter McCoon, I think he plays Raka, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
He's a orangutan. Orangutans don't move like that. So he's like, while everyone else is jumping around and climbing up shit, he's sitting down there like, cool, So, but he said it worked for his benefit because orangutans are very like secluded. You know, they do their own thing and stuff like that. So, and I think it fit because he was one of my favorite characters in this whole movie. You know, Raka the orangutan was super cool. You know, like I enjoyed him more than I think everyone else. You know, so but yeah, it acted well, it looked great, sounded great, all the stuff you guys said. So about dislikes, what didn't you like about it?
They didn't do enough with the villain Proxima Caesar.
Yeah.
I thought he showed up too late. I thought there was a lot more potential with him because the character he was basically like a Caesar fanatic. He was a wannabe. He was an incel basically. I thought there was more that could have been done with that. I thought there, I would have liked to have seen him. Well, even if they didn't introduce him earlier, I just thought there was more that they could have done with him. And Kevin Durand was like solid enough to, I thought he did a great job. He deserved more. The character of May, the human character, I borderline couldn't stand her. She just irrationally grated on my nerves.
But you said that going in, you were already kind of ready for that.
I had a feeling she was gonna like kind of tick me off. Thankfully, she didn't tick me off as badly as I thought she would. But at the same time, the girl was kind of
I
annoying.
mean, you remember where she's from?
Yeah,
The Witcher.
The Witcher. Yeah. Yeah. I think it kind of didn't really have too much of a sense of direction in parts of the movie, I thought. It especially
Not
during
Kevin Durant. Kevin Durand.
Kevin Durand. Durand. IMDb is your friend.
No, I know Kyle's best.
Oh, Kyle's the best one.
But yeah, they I guess it didn't go as far with certain ideas as it could have. And then I kind of think like the third act felt like it was kind of rushing. It was just kind of going through the motions, I thought. And it felt like they were just hurrying up to get to the end. So there was potential great concept that turned out to be fine rather than great in the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Okay. What are you, Brian?
Once again, so I have a hard time separating myself from Planet of the Apes. Though I don't like the fact that all the bad apes are also dark. And all the good apes have like lighter skin. Dude, it's crazy. Like I'm looking at them like, am I just seeing this shit? Just like like that in itself is just what the hell. All right, and the idea of apes is in itself is hard for me to even separate myself from that. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this movie ain't that bad, but what the fuck? That's what I keep on looking at. In itself. I felt like the movie was more of an introduction without not really a direction. Now you said not direction. You said world building. Yeah, those are all key words when it's not really necessary that you have to have a beginning, middle, and end. This is just like opening the book, or opening a Pandora's box and seeing this is where we're going to go from now on. I didn't really feel like there was not it wasn't like aimless. It was just didn't have the point of the movie. The point of the movie was to begin this world, to get you 300 years here, and now we're going to take it and we're going to go, and take the story somewhere else. I actually agree with Brandon too. The human character, she was annoying as hell to me. I was like,
really?
I don't know what you call her, May or Nova, whatever. I was like, yeah, what the hell? You guys are stupid. Kill her. Just like, that should be, oh, she's doing it. death. All right, in the movie. But it's just the way I thought about it. But I there are a lot of parts that I liked in the movie and kept me interested. That's what one thing I will say. It kept me interested. But I agree. The third act kind of fell flat on his face because it was trying to do too much at the same time. Trying to wrap up too much when you really weren't going towards the direction you needed to go to. But overall, it was okay. So go ahead.
I didn't notice that part of like, or you said like the darker apes. I did notice a lot of segregation though. Like, because you had like these certain kind of apes over here, you had the gorillas over here, the orangutans are doing their own thing, you know what I mean? So it was like, I'm like, oh, okay, like it's interesting, but yeah, I was just like, that was just kind of like what I was thinking, but I didn't think about that.
Just watch it again and just look.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's bad, dark skin. I was like, what is going on?
Well, they always make the big gorillas usually always like the bad guy, like,
or no, the big gorilla is
so
always the
big and
follower.
broody.
He's the follower.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's
muscle.
the muscle. That's the Looney Tunes thing, with the small dog, big dog kind of thing, So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't mind May. My biggest issue with this whole movie was the entire time I'm asking so many questions. I was like, wait, what's up with the Falcons? Why are they doing that? Wait, what's this? And it's like, I get it, evolution, they're training Falcons. Cool. Why? They're just training Falcons. Okay, you got the Falcon Master. Okay, cool, whatever. It's like, it's just, besides the fact that it looks cool with a monkey on a horse, that calls a Falcon. Like, okay, that's cool. I can't deny that, but also it's like they didn't really like explain it too much. You kind of like have to assume like your own kind of things for it. Fine, whatever. But then like, who's May? Where did she come from? And then even at the end of the movie, you're still kind of like, how? Like where? And then they just open it up and it's more questions. And and the whole time I'm like, where did Proximus come from? I mean, how did he get a following? I mean, it was like where did he first learn about Caesar? Because like Rocco knew about Caesar, but he knew about a different Caesar. But then Proximus, also knows about Caesar, but he knows a whole different kind of like the warrior version. But yet Noah had no idea who the hell Caesar was.
Yeah.
So it was like, like what? Like it's just it was a little too much. Like if I felt like the show Lost. I was asking like, wait, why is that happening? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? And by the end of the film, I don't think I got that many answers, but I know they're doing it on purpose because we're getting at least two more with Noah being the main character. And also Noah as the main character was kind of boring. He was kind of boring. Like, like I get it, like he had to become his own, get out of his father's shadow kind of thing, and he wasn't never really accepted by his father, blah blah blah. They they did the story beats of a son trying to prove himself and stuff like that. It's just Noah was kind of like like I didn't really care too much. Proximus was really cool, but where did
used them
came from?
Like, you used Proximus very like small, like not it's almost like a small role for a big part of a movie.
Yeah. And he was a cool character. I'm like, how? I want to know how he became this thing. And even like the whole idea of like he's learning about Roman Empire and stuff like that because of Trevathan, which William H. Macy, I did not expect him to pop up in this movie. I was like,
Same.
what? Like, but yeah, that's my only thing is by the end, I'm like asking a lot of questions, and I don't mind having an open-ended movie to open up to the next one, but I don't feel like I got a lot of answers in this one. So I felt a little like unsatisfied by the end of the movie. I'm like, it looked cool, it looked really cool, but I still have a lot of questions, even more questions by the end of the movie. I'm like, what? Like, and I mean, and that's stuff you get when you skip 300 years, so, the good and bad of that. But Yeah. Anything else? Any good? Any bad that you might have forgot about?
That's about it on my end.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it just reminded me of like remember when the Force Awakens started,
Hmm.
and I mean they had no so at least the Force Awakens had characters that we knew about, but like it's just the opening of a story, and they're putting these new characters out, they're putting the pieces out there, and now they want to play chess.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what the movie was. It's about them just wanting now to play chess. They're putting these are all these characters. Here's one. Here's the bad side. Here's the good side. We're gonna put them against each other.
Mhm.
And next movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I exactly see that. Um. Cool. So we'll get into the comments after our ratings, and then see what you guys are saying about the movie. Let me bring this up. Cool. So here's Spoiler Kings. We do our ratings nice and easy. Now, later, never. Now means you got to go run to the theater to check it out. Now, later means you can wait till it's streaming at home, and never means just skip it altogether. Brandman, what you giving this one?
I was actually thinking about this for a while before we even jumped on, and it was kind of a tough
Yeah.
call to make.
Yeah.
Um, I can give this a somewhat on the fence now.
Mhm.
Um, and I'll explain why. We're at the beginning of summer season. This is following up the Fall Guy, which I really enjoyed. I think getting up and going to the movies is something I kind of find synonymous with summer season.
Mhm.
It's good like early summer season fare from like a spectacle standpoint. It's got enough to really kind of hold your attention, especially if you're a Planet of the Apes fan, or if you even like the last handful of movies. I'd say it's a must to see in the theater. From a visual standpoint, it's really really nice to look at, and it's definitely not a bad movie. I think it's a worthy successor to the previous three.
Mhm.
I don't put it anywhere near the level of the last three, especially not Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which is a movie I loved a bit. But it's a worthy successor, and it's a good enough time. So I
Mhm.
can I can give it a now.
Okay. What about you, Brian?
I'm torn because
Yeah.
I feel like this is a movie that you want to see in the theater,
Mhm.
but I don't feel like you need to run up and go see it right now. Like I think it's something that it's made for a movie for theaters. It's looks pretty awesome. The world building, the way they did it makes sense. It's something you probably want to see on a big screen. But I don't think you have to jump out and go see it. So I'm gonna still give it a later. Um,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that they left me wanting in a lot of places. They, as I said, they put characters out there, but they haven't explored those characters. You know, I I have a problem with May for other reasons that I think it's going to come up later,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but they didn't explore enough stuff for me to be angry or not angry. It's just like it's the beginning. So when it's not something that's going to end, there's no definite direction where they're going to go. I don't feel like it's something you have to run out and go see. So that's why I'm going to give it a later.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna give it a later too. It was a fun time, but I think at home for me is the spot to watch it. Put it on the 4K, get it in high def, blast the surround sound. It'll be a nice like Friday night kind of film at home.
Mhm.
Because then for me too, it's like I feel like watching some of the deleted scenes, some of the extras, commentary that might help explain some of the things behind it. Behind the scenes stuff. I'm really interested to see a lot behind the scenes for a film like this. So just for that, I think a later is gonna be for it. Every and the same thing with everything Brandman said. It was a good sequel to the last trilogy and setting things up, but it just wasn't as good. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think a later for me. So um then before we go off for the night, it is the second highest opening weekend for a Planet of Apes film. As of right now, from recording the review, um, it has made $145 million worldwide, which
Mm.
is not bad in 6 days. it has made a decent amount of money. And then on Rotten Tomatoes, you got a 81 from the critics, 79 from the audience, so it's not too bad. And I believe on Letterboxd it's at 3.5, which is
That's
that's
about where it is. It's about 3.3,
average.
3.5. That's what it
And
is.
I think that is it 3.5 on Letterboxd? So
Yeah.
out of 221 people. So, and I think I gave it a 3.5 too on there. So, seems, it was fun, slightly above average, but not, nothing right home about. But cool. Yeah, that's our thoughts for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's the fourth in this prequel saga that we're doing. But yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We want to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about the Kingdom movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What you feel about it? And also hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and come and join us every Monday and Thursday. Talk movies, TV, comics, all that fun stuff. So make sure you come and join us live. And if you are in the live chat right now, stick around because we're going to get into all the comments for this movie.